Namaskar. I'm Harpreet Kaur and I welcome you all to our live and interactive session under our webinar series titled Listening to Learn, Yani Sune aur Seekhe. You are watching us live on PME Vidya channels 9, 10, 11 and 12 and also on our YouTube handle NCERT Official. Today we are in 112th edition of our webinar series, which is brought to you by Department of Education in Science and Mathematics NCERT New Delhi. The topic that we have taken up in this edition is Empowering India's Farmers with AI, that's artificial intelligence. Well, we have been learning about AI, how it is indeed need of the hour when it comes to different domains like education, entertainment, research and whatnot. But when it comes to agriculture, what are we looking at? So this talk discusses the endeavors of Indian Institute of Science initiatives in addressing and solving key problems related to the agricultural sector in the Indian context. If you have any questions, any feedback, any suggestions regarding the talk today, please feel free to get in touch with us. Our phone number is 8800440559. Our email ID is dth.class12@ciet.nic.in. And on our YouTube handle NCERT Official, you can also send us your questions, suggestions and feedback. And let me remind all of you that participation certificates will be issued to those who will join us live on our YouTube handle NCERT Official. As I always say that this is a wonderful series where we have thrown light on a variety of topics. Yes, if you want to watch our previous sessions, that they are very much available to you. What you can do, you can log on to this link ncert.nic.in/webinar_series.php and you will find a treasure of some wonderful sessions and some eminent personalities giving their valuable inputs related to the respective topics. And today once again we have two eminent personalities here with us, and I'm going to introduce everybody out there to the man behind this entire initiative, who will not only introduce you all to a special guest today but will also take the conversation forward with him. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Gagan Gupta from DESM NCERT New Delhi. Sir, namaskar and very warm welcome.
नमस्ते हरप्रीत जी। साथियों, एक बार फिर से हम 112वें सेशन में आपके सामने हैं। हमने इस सीरीज़ को जब 2021 में शुरू किया तो हेल्थ से जुड़े हुए विषयों पर शुरू किया। इसके बाद हमने आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, पावर, स्पेस, न्यूक्लियर प्रोग्राम्स, हेल्थ, हमने आपको दिल की सैर कराई, हमने आपको फेफड़ों की सैर कराई, हमने आपको पेट की सैर कराई, स्टमक की सैर कराई। इन सारे विषयों पर, ऑर्गन डोनेशंस पर बात की। यदा कदा हम साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी के रिजिम से थोड़ा थोड़ा बाहर भी निकले। हमने, आप याद कीजिए, हमने 2021 में आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के कुछ सेशंस किए थे जब अर्नी राव और प्रफुल्ल कृष्णा हमारे साथ सैन फ्रांसिस्को से और कैलिफोर्निया से जुड़े थे। उन्होंने पोटेंशियल यूजेस और इनके इम्पैक्ट पर बात की थी। ये बात आज से 4 साल पहले की है, अगस्त सितंबर 2021। अभी एक महीना पहले 12 सितंबर को, एक महीना पहले भी नहीं, एक पखवाड़ा पहले हमने बात की आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के मशीनों के बारे में कि वो किस तरह से सोचती हैं, किस तरह से काम करती हैं, जब सविनय हमारे साथ कैलिफोर्निया से जुड़े थे। आज मेरे साथी प्रोफेसर यदाटी नरहरि, एक एग्रीकल्चरल फॉर्म जो कि बंगलौर से 200 किलोमीटर दूर है, वहाँ से जुड़ रहे हैं। और आज हम बिल्कुल ज़मीन की बात करने वाले हैं। आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस का रियल यूज किस तरह से हो रहा है और किस तरह से एग्रीकल्चर में उसका उपयोग होगा। मेरी साथी हरप्रीत ने अभी इस टॉपिक के टाइटल के बारे में बात की। मेरे साथी प्रोफेसर नरहरि अभी हमको इस टॉपिक के बारे में बहुत विस्तार से बताएंगे और भारतीय विज्ञान संस्थान ने इस विषय में किस तरह से अपना योगदान दिया है और किस तरह के प्रोजेक्ट्स अपने साथ लिए हैं और किस तरह की टीम वहाँ पर काम कर रही है, इस सब के बारे में बहुत विस्तार से हमें बताएंगे। साथियों, तो आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस जो कि अब खाली किताबों की बात नहीं रह गई है, खाली कंप्यूटर की, हमारी स्क्रीन की बात नहीं रह गई है, बल्कि हमारे फील्ड्स में काम कर रही है, दवाइयों में काम कर ही रही है, हम जानते हैं। आज हम उन सब के बारे में बहुत ही बेसिक स्तर पर बात करेंगे, बात सुनेंगे। मेरे साथी यादाटी नरहरी साहब हमारे साथ IISc जो कि प्रोफेसर हैं IISc में, अभी आपसे बात करेंगे। मैं शुक्रगुजार हूँ इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ साइंस भारतीय विज्ञान संस्थान बेंगलुरु का, अपने व्यक्तिगत तौर पर भी और अपनी संस्था NCERT के तौर पर भी। साथ में मैं शुक्रगुजार हूँ प्रोफेसर उमेश वाशने और प्रोफेसर जयंत हरित्सा जो कि IISc में है, जिन्होंने कि हमें प्रोफेसर नरहरी के साथ इंट्रोड्यूस किया और हमें प्रोफेसर नरहरी के साथ कार्य करने का मौका मिला। मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि आगे भविष्य में भी हमें भारतीय विज्ञान संस्थान और प्रोफेसर नरहरी का संपर्क, कोलैबोरेशन लगातार सतत रूप से मिलता रहेगा। प्रोफेसर नरहरी, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है हमारे NCERT के इस प्रोग्राम में। और आज साथियों, दिल्ली का भी मौसम बहुत अच्छा है, लगभग 30 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड है, हल्की हल्की धूप खिली है। और मुझे लगता है कि जहाँ से प्रोफेसर नरहरी हमारे साथ हैं, एक एग्रीकल्चरल फॉर्म जो कि बेंगलुरु से लगभग 200 किलोमीटर दूर है, वहाँ पर भी मौसम अच्छा होगा। प्रोफेसर नरहरी ने एक हरी शर्ट पहनी हुई है जो कि दिखाती है, जो इस बात को इंगित करती है कि वो खेती से और फील्ड से जुड़े हुए व्यक्ति हैं। तो प्रोफेसर नरहरी, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है और हम वी रियली फील प्लीज, वी ऑनर्ड इन हैविंग अ कोलैबोरेशन विद यू एज वेल एज विद इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ साइंस। साथियों, इससे पहले कि मैं प्रोफेसर नरहरी को आगे सेशन बढ़ाने के लिए कहूँ, मैं उनकी मुलाकात आपसे कराना चाहता हूँ। साथियों, डॉक्टर नरहरी, who is presently an honorary professor at the Department of Computer Science and Automation, he has been with the Indian Institute of Science right from 1979. Coming from a very humble background from Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, he is an undergraduate, postgraduate as well as doctorate from the Indian Institute of Science. He joined IISc as a faculty in 1988. So he is a true IIScian. He has been the chairman of the Department of Computer Science and Automation during 2010 to 2024 and the Dean Division of Electronics and Computer Science from August 2014 to July 2021. He has also chaired the Office of the Digital Campus and Informational Technology Services during 2016 to 2020. During June 2022 to December 23, he has also officiated the Director Center for Brain Research. A widely varied experienced person is with us today, Satyo. During 1992, Professor Narahari was a postdoctoral researcher at the Laboratory for Information and Decision Systems at Massachusetts, and during 1997, he was a visiting scientist at the National Institute of Standards and Technology, Maryland. Satyo, an architect of IISc's digital transformation and renowned for his pioneering work at the intersection of computer science and economics. Professor Narahari has varied research interest in game theory and mechanism design, auction and electronic markets, and artificial intelligence for social good. Besides a number of research articles, more than 200, in flagship publication venues, Professor Narahari has research interest in game theory. He has published three books titled Game Theoretic Problems in Network Economics and Mechanism Design Solutions, Game Theory and Mechanism Design, which was published by the IISc Press and the World Scientific, and also the Performance Modeling of Automated Manufacturing Systems, which was printed by the Princeton Hall in 1992. Dr. Narahari has supervised 29 research doctoral theses and more than hundreds of master's projects, dissertations. Very highly illuminated scientist, Professor Narahari's more than 10 students are presently working with different IITs as faculty members. Besides, Professor Narahari has also collaborated with many organizations, industrial organizations, including the IBM, Infosys, Intel, Adobe, Xerox, and General Motors. Professor Narahari is widely recognized and has been honored by many prizes, awards. He is the fellow of all the scientific academies, namely INSA, the Indian Association of Science, National Academy of Sciences India, Indian National Academy of Engineers, and IEEE USA. He has been awarded with the C.V. Raman Young Scientist Award, Homi Bhabha Fellowship, J.C. Bose National Fellowship, Indian Institute of Science Alumni Award for Research Excellence in Engineering, IISc Distinguished Alumnus Award 2024, and Sir M. Vishwasaraya Lifetime Achievement Award 2024. So we are blessed in having Professor Narahari with us in this program Listening to Learn series. Once again, I welcome you, Professor Narahari, and it is all yours now. Please.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद Dr. Gagan Gupta ji. You have done wonderful and very thoughtful coordination of this program and provided me with a golden opportunity to be presenting a talk in NCERT to all the young students and also teachers across the country. I am really excited to be a part of this lecture series here. And today I will have an opportunity of talking about a very modest but a very sincere effort in the last 4 years of trying to see, of exploring whether some of the research that we have been doing at the Indian Institute of Science in the areas of game theory and artificial intelligence could be applied for enabling and empowering Indian farmers, at least in a little way. So I will, in the next 35 to 40 minutes, take you through this exciting journey that we have had in the last 4 years. This talk itself will be in 5 parts. I will first start with the fundamental questions which have driven our work. Then I will look at the GRAMA project at the Indian Institute of Science, which we launched about 4 years back. I will say more about the GRAMA project as we go along. I will then look at the 6 building blocks of GRAMA project. Then I will also present to you a real world case study that we have done in 2 farmer producer organizations closer to Bengaluru. And last but not the least, I would like to take you through many practical challenges and what is likely to happen in the future tense on this topic. So that would be the outline of my talk. And let me first start with the fundamental questions which have driven our journey in the last 4 years. Now, all of us are familiar with agriculture. And, if you look at some of these questions that I'm going to present to you today, for example, if you look at tons and tons of tomatoes and onions, which are actually thrown on the roads again and again, year after year, in almost every state in India, not only tomatoes and onions, but so many different kinds of vegetables. This keeps happening all the time. Is there a way in which we can avert situations like this, especially because we know precisely when it is likely to happen and what kind of a distress the farmers are thrown into because of this situation? I also want to talk about our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji's grand plan of doubling the farmers' income in 5 years' time. So the government of India has put in place tremendous amount of measures by which the revenue and the profits and the welfare of the farmers could be doubled in about 5 years' time. So this would basically mean that we will have to do better crop planning, and it will also mean that the farmers will have to sow the right crops at the right time. And then there are so many uncertainties plaguing the agriculture sector, and the farmers will have to respond very effectively to these uncertainties. This is the second question. The third question, which was also a driving factor for us, was about the farmer cooperatives. Currently, our country has more than 60,000 so-called FPOs, farmer producer organizations. These are basically farmer cooperatives. Each farmer cooperative is a collection of hundreds and sometimes thousands of farmers who would like to come together and exploit economies of scale. And NABARD has been a champion of these farmer producer organizations. And for some reason, all these FPOs are still in nascent stage and not much success has been observed. If you look at the success of the milk cooperatives, that's actually a great success story for our country. Can we replicate the success of milk cooperatives in the broader sector of agriculture is one question that has defied answer for a long, long time. So we all know that there is tremendous potential for the farmer producer organization. So we wanted to ask this fundamental question: how do we realize this tremendous potential of the farmer cooperatives? So I think driven by all such fundamental questions, we were trying to launch a program in applying artificial intelligence and game theory techniques to agriculture. And in June 2021, an opportunity really knocked on our doors. It was a heavenly sent opportunity. A chance meeting with the Deputy Managing Director of the National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, NABARD, resulted in NABARD sanctioning a research grant to find answers to precisely the kind of questions that we had been asking for quite some time. For getting this project sanctioned, I had made a proposal to NABARD, and then I had to put together a team in order to execute this project once the project was sanctioned. So one of the challenges that I faced was to assemble the right team to be able to work on this kind of a project. So fortunately, I had two project assistants, CM Arun and Sanat Patil, who were interested in working in agriculture. And then I had Someshwar, an MTech project student. And then these three people were joined by a research engineer, Inavamshi, always excited to work on socially good problems. And then finally, I think one of my PhD students, Mayank Ratan Bharadwaj, really took a bold decision to work on agriculture for his PhD. And I think slowly and steadily, the students got attracted, leading to the launching of this GRAMA project. It was not at all easy because at that point of time, working in agriculture in India's best computer science department is not exactly the best option for, not exactly the most attractive option for the students. So it was not easy to attract the students. But I think slowly and steadily, because of the involvement of artificial intelligence and also game theory and some exciting analytical techniques which could be applied for improving the lot of the farmers, I think the students got attracted to the GRAMA project. And in fact, currently the team is quite strong, and the team actually has quite a large number of students working on a variety of problems. So moving on, I think let me talk about the GRAMA project itself. The GRAMA project has 6 building blocks. First of all, the acronym itself, GRAMA, what does it stand for? So in GRAMA, the letter G stands for game theory, the letter R stands for random processes, the letter A stands for artificial intelligence, the letter M stands for machine learning, and the final letter A stands for agriculture. Now, game theory, because our group works on game theory, and we wanted to leverage our expertise in game theory towards problems in agriculture. R is random processes, because everything about agriculture, especially Indian agriculture, is very, very uncertain. So random processes have to be used for modeling agriculture operations. And artificial intelligence, because AI is the new revolution, which is actually driving innovations and also transformation in almost every area. Machine learning, because machine learning is the tool which is actually used by artificial intelligence. And finally, agriculture. So this particular project has, I would say, 6 building blocks. The first building block is the crop planning system. These building blocks actually cover the entire life cycle of operations that a farmer typically goes through. So in agriculture, the first thing that is done is crop planning. So we call that as crop planning system, or crop S. This is the first building block. I'm going to give more details about each one of these building blocks as we go along. Then the second building block is called acre. This is agricultural crop recommendation. This is for recommending which crops a farmer should be actually growing in the next season. The third building block is called promise. So once you have decided on which crops you are going to grow, you now have to get the agricultural inputs. By agricultural inputs, I mean input seeds, fertilizers, and pesticides. And then how do you procure all these agricultural inputs, high quality inputs, in a cost effective way is what is addressed by promise. Then we have the fourth module, which is a very important module. We call it as prepare. Prepare is short for price prediction for agriculture. How do you actually estimate what kind of prices you are going to get when you are harvesting the crops? This is a very important but a very difficult problem. But we wanted to solve this problem using some of the more modern tools that AI is offering. And then the fifth building block is prosper, which is now looking at the output side. So once the harvest is over and the agricultural produce is ready, then you have to now find the right kind of markets where you can sell your produce so that you will get the best prices and make profits. So you can see prosper is protocol for optimal selling of produce for enhanced revenue. That's our fifth building block. That is the post-harvest building block. And then finally, we also have one building block called Agri-Vahan. In order to take all these decisions, data is going to be very important. We want to harness all the data that is available about the historical operations of agriculture, and also about the data, real-time data that is available about climate, and also the data that we are going to predict about what is going to happen in the future. So all the operations that we are planning as a part of the GRAMA project are data-driven. When you have data, you have to do analysis of the data, and all the data analytics that you do will also require analytical tools. It will also require a software platform. So what we have done is, in the last 4 years, we also have built a highly scalable architecture, a software architecture, and a software platform where all the data analytics for agriculture could be done. And this is a platform that we are now offering free of cost to colleges, universities, and researchers to be able to do data analytics for agriculture. So in some sense, what I'm presenting to you here is the big picture of the GRAMA project. You have 5 technical building blocks here. And then you have a platform on which all these building blocks are going to be founded upon. And then the idea is to make user-friendly mobile apps which farmers will be able to use, which vendors will be able to use, which policymakers will be able to use, and which the government also will be able to use in order to make the agricultural operations as effective as possible. So what I will now do is to take you through the details of each one of these building blocks one by one, starting with the crop planning system. So here is the slide which actually talks about the entire team that we have been able to put together in the last 4 years. As I said, it was not very easy to recruit students to work on this project, but now the project itself has come to a stage where it has become very romantic to work in Indian agricultural operations using modern AI tools like deep learning, then transformer architectures, generative AI, and large language models. So these are the people who have actually helped put together the GRAMA project in the last 4 years. These are all students, research engineers, and professors of the University of Agricultural Sciences and startup leaders. So as I already said, data is the key in making all the decisions that we have been talking about. And we have been able to get this data mostly from public sources. In fact, all the data that we have used as a part of the GRAMA project has been taken from publicly available data sources and data portals. For example, we have got the yield data from the Government of India portals and from the AG MarkNet portal, price data from the Ministry of Agricultural Directorate and Marketing and Inspection, weather data from IMD, and so on. So we have basically used data which is already available in public domain in order to drive the analytical engine for the GRAMA project. So let me now start with the building blocks of GRAMA. I have talked about 5 building blocks. I will now give a very brief description of each one of these building blocks. So the first building block is the crop planning system. I would like to illustrate that with something that we have done for Karnataka. So you can see that on the left side, you have the 31 districts of Karnataka which are pictured here. And on the right side, again, the same 31 districts are there. So what is the difference between the left side and the right side? Left side basically is looking at the major crops which are grown in the different individual districts in Karnataka as of now. And then what we basically have realized is that for the kind of crops which are currently being grown in the various districts, the utilization of the warehouses, the utilization of the soil, the utilization of transportation, and also the supply demand matching is not exactly optimal. So if you want to now improve supply demand matching, if you want to take into account export import kind of operations, if you want to minimize the need for transportation, if you want to effectively utilize all the warehouses and the cold storage units that you have in the Karnataka state, and if you want to also take into account the different types of soil which are available in the different talukas and districts of Karnataka, then it turns out that you can actually set up an optimization problem where you are actually trying to maximize the total revenues for all the farmers in Karnataka, subject to all the constraints that I have just now told you. So this becomes actually a very nice, interesting mathematical programming problem, in fact, a linear programming problem. And if you solve this linear programming problem, as a solution to this linear programming problem, you will actually get a portfolio of crops that must be grown in individual districts and individual taluks of Karnataka so that the revenues of the farmers can be maximized. And we have found that by a slight redistribution of the crops that can be grown in the different talukas and districts, you can actually increase the revenues of the farmers by 70 to 80% without changing anything in the existing status quo. So all that you are trying to do is to grow different combinations of crops in different districts in order to minimize transportation, in order to do the supply demand matching much better and so on. So this is the crop planning system. We have done it very successfully for the 31 districts of Karnataka. Now we are all set to get taluka level data, and with that taluka level data, we will be able to do it at a lower level of granularity of this problem. So this is the crop planning system. The second building block, once you are able to do the crop planning, you still will have to now recommend to the farmers what they should be growing in the next season. Now, if you look at an individual farmer, based on minimal inputs that the farmer is going to give you, like the soil type and also the temperature patterns and the location where the farmer is currently in, all that information is enough for us using a mobile app to drive an analytical engine which will actually tell us what would be the optimal combination of crops a farmer can grow. What is usually observed is that the farmers often suffer terrible losses because of wrong choice of crops. Our module Acre, which is agricultural crop recommendation, basically recommends the best portfolio of crops through a novel analogy with financial portfolio selection. So this is where some of our research innovation came into picture. So what this particular module does, it is a mobile app. It takes inputs from farmers and it outputs several candidate portfolios for the next year, which means Rabi season, Kharif season, and also the intervening period. So what we do is we actually give several possible candidate portfolios of crops to the farmer, so that based on other criteria, the farmer also has other criteria. He or she would like to, sort of, follow some cultural patterns and perhaps superstitions and also peer pressure. So based on all the other criteria that the farmer has, the farmer will be able to choose the best crop combination that has been recommended by the mobile app. So this is called Acre, and this is one area where we have actually been able to publish some research papers, because we were able to map the agricultural crop portfolio selection problem to financial investment portfolio selection problem. Moving on to the third building block, this I would say is the most important: price prediction for agriculture. The price of a crop depends on so many factors. It depends on historical price patterns. It depends on demands and exports. It depends on locations. It depends on market linkages. It depends on weather, of course. And there is actually extensive amount of literature which use a variety of models, ranging from time series models to more sophisticated deep learning models, in order to come up with best accurate prediction of crop prices. I would say that this is the grand challenge problem in agriculture, because predicting the price of a crop is an extremely non-trivial problem. So what we have done is we have actually explored a variety of the deep learning models, and I'm very happy to say that the kind of models we have been able to use, the kind of price estimates that we have been able to get, are currently the best in the world. Globally, the best accuracy has been obtained for the price forecast that we have for various different crops. In fact, we have actually attempted this problem on tomato prices. As you know, tomato prices are very, very volatile. And at this point of time, we are actually trying to take the data in Karnataka about tomato prices and be able to predict the prices of tomatoes as accurately as possible. So that was our third module. Moving, so there are some technical details about some of the innovations that we were able to achieve while trying to predict the prices of the crops. For example, we used a deep learning model called graph neural networks. I currently don't have the time to get into the details, but all that I can say is that if you compare the kind of accuracies we are able to achieve with the state of the art in the entire world, our group currently has the best possible estimates for crop price predictions. So then moving on, there are two more building blocks, 4 and 5. 4, we call it as promise. So this is on the procurement side, on the input side. And number 5 is prosper, which is actually on the output side, which is on the selling side. So on the input side, what we want to do is we want to cost effectively procure high quality seeds, high quality pesticides, and high quality fertilizers. Whereas on the output side, once we are ready with the agricultural produce, what we want to do is we want to find the best price so that the farmer is able to maximize the revenues. So now what we have tried to do is we have now tried to leverage the idea of farmer cooperatives here. So if the farmers are able to come together, both on the input side and also on the output side, it's actually going to be beneficial to the farmers. This is what we have tried to prove. So as already stated, farmer producer organizations have tremendous potential. So what we have tried to do is how AI tools and how game theoretic tools will be able to help us to realize the potential of the farmer producer organizations. So for this, we had to do some field studies. So we actually went to a place called Onekal, about 35 kilometers from IISc, where there is a horticulture FPO. We did a field visit there. We also went to a place called Rajaghatta, which is about 45 kilometers from Bengaluru, which again is a horticulture FPO. And so this field study that we did was mostly on the procurement side, while we also looked at the output side. And then we also went to a place called New Tarugupet in Bengaluru, where actually we met with a very large number of vendors of agricultural inputs. These are the people who actually sell pesticides, fertilizers, and also agricultural seeds. So the key observations that we were able to make after our field visits is that the farmers actually face challenges on the input side as well as on the output side. Of course, there are intermediaries, brokers. They hold sway by offering credit for inputs and market reach to farmers. Vendors are very cautious about using technology. And FPOs themselves will need a lot of support, both financial and also support from the government. Our sort of observation, final takeaway, was that by using farmer cooperatives, we can actually significantly benefit the farmers by adopting innovative technology, but with a good, strong mandate from the government. So with these observations, I think, so we came up with these two modules. The input module is called PROMISE, Procurement Mechanism for Inputs and Services. And the output mechanism is called PROSPER. And PROMISE and PROSPER, both of them use the notion of farmer cooperatives. For example, I will try to explain that in the case of input side. So step number one, the farmer cooperative will gather requirements from the farmers for agricultural inputs. So the FPO will ask each and every farmer, let's say 1,000 farmers, each and every farmer, how many seeds would be required, and how much of fertilizer, and how much of pesticides, and so on. And the farmer producer organization will actually aggregate all these requirements clusters into various buckets. For example, a bucket could correspond to 500 kgs of chili seeds. So having done that, the FPO will actually procure 500 kgs of chili seeds from a qualified supplier by engaging that supplier in some kind of a market mechanism. So when you are now doing bulk procurement of agricultural inputs, you are actually doing business with suppliers who are already qualified and who are very well known. So this is where we found that procurement market design plays a very important role. And this is where we were actually able to use our background in game theory, which is the science behind design of markets. And we were also able to leverage the data that was available about procurement in the FPOs where we did the field studies. So the idea is to bulk procure at a very cost-effective price and then redistribute it to the various farmers. So now this is the idea on the input side. On the output side also, the farmer cooperative can aggregate the produce of all the farmers and then find markets where they are able to get much better prices. So what we are trying to do is we're actually trying to exploit economies of scale by using the ideas of cooperation and trying to help the farmers both on the input side and also on the output side. So this is what the main idea of PROMISE and PROSPER, the fourth and the fifth building blocks of GRAMA is. Well, in theory, it sounds very exciting, but in practice, it's not going to be that trivial. So we wanted to actually run a pilot. So I'm now going to skip a few slides in the interest of time and straight away go to how we were able to deploy one of the solutions of PROMISE. PROMISE is basically a cost-effective procurement of quality assuring inputs. Okay. So here we actually used a deep learning based mechanism which also used game theory. That's the technical part of it. Let me not again get into the technical part of this, but having designed a process by which cost-effective procurement can be done, if you really want to implement it and if you want to deploy it, again, you will need the help of an agency. And this is where we must really thank Bharat Electronics. And I would say that in addition to the first opportunity that knocked on our door through NABARD, we had one more opportunity knocking on our doors in the form of Bharat Electronics. They said, Professor, we will be able to come with you to the farmer cooperatives, and we will be able to translate all the ideas and algorithms that we have in the form of mobile apps. We will be able to actually persuade the farmers to go on to the mobile app and so on. And indeed, what we did with the Bharat Electronics Limited was that, first of all, Bharat Electronics designed a mobile app for the farmers. They were able to convince the farmer producer organizations, namely Rajkhatta and Onekal, and it was actually tested and deployed at both of these with farmers. And the IISC and the BEL teams designed the logic for aggregating the inputs into various buckets. IISC team developed and implemented the auction algorithm that was used to procure the inputs cost effectively from all the farmers. And we actually contacted the vendors from New Tarugapet who participated in the auction mechanism, and the winning suppliers were selected and notified. So the entire mobile app end to end was implemented in Rajkhatta and Onekal, and it was actually a very highly successful experiment, all because of the dynamic involvement of the Bharat Electronics Limited. So in fact, when we actually submitted this innovation and the deployment exercise to the India AI Summit in Bengaluru in July 2024, so this particular project that we had done at Rajkhatta and Onekal actually received a Technology Excellence Award from the India AI Summit. So many thanks to the BEL team. I will now take another 5 minutes or so to say that I have so far painted a very rosy story. I have said that AI will work, game theory will work, analytical methods will work, optimization will work, and all of them will give you unbeatable solutions and algorithms with which you will be able to transform Indian agriculture. But let me tell you that this is only one part of the story. This is the academic part of the story. But I would like to now come to the practical part of the story, namely, what are the various challenges involved in practical deployment of AI and tech-based solutions. Now, as a part of our field studies, we talked to farmer producer organizations. We also went and talked to the farmers. And some of the farmers, namely the progressive farmers, are very receptive. But the kind of reception we got from the farmers was not always one of a welcome attitude. For example, I have given here possible responses that we got from the farmers. Since most of you probably will know Hindi, I will read out the response of one of the farmers from the Hindi land. Saheb, ye cheeze काम नहीं करती, हम सैकड़ों सालों से खेती कर रहे हैं, आपको हमारी कठिनाइयों की कोई समझ नहीं है, कृपया हमें इस तरह मत सताइए. My Hindi is not very good, but I think I have conveyed what I wanted to. Basically what it means is, sir, all these things do not work, sir. We have been tilling these lands for hundreds of years. You do not understand our agony. You do not understand our stories. And you are somehow painting that your technology has solutions for all of us. Please don't torture us, sir. In Kannada, namman hige sataisbedi. So this is the kind of response you will get from the farmers. Not only from the farmers, we will get this kind of responses from almost every stakeholder. They are naysayers. They think that technology will not help, which is true. We are still in the starting stages of applying technology in the Indian context. Digital agriculture has made waves in a few countries. For example, in Israel, digital agriculture is a success story. But to make it a success story in India is not going to be very easy at all. However, very scientific estimates currently are showing that 50% of agriculture in India by 2030 will be completely digital agriculture. By 2047, when India completes 100 years of their independence, almost 100% of agriculture will be digital agriculture. There is no way of getting out of this. So it is very important for us to embrace technology, but embrace technology in a very scientific way. So I think there are multiple challenges. Progressive farmers are convinced, but not the typical farmers, as I already said. Farmers are always worried about credit and insurance. They are always craving for credit. They always want insurance, and they always want freebies. But unless we build in suitable incentives which are scientifically designed, right, the situation is not going to change. And the kind of problems that I was talking about here, for example, the building blocks of GRAMA, these are all grand challenge problems. For example, if somebody is able to solve the tomato price prediction problem in the states of India, there's a big prize, perhaps a Nobel Prize waiting for such a person. The data that we have is coming from multiple sources, heterogeneous data, and the problems are challenging. Explainability of the models is a big question mark. The models are producing some solutions for you, but it is not clear at all whether these solutions, how these solutions are being obtained from the inputs that you have given. So explainability is a real problem. Explainability of artificial intelligence models is actually a very intensive research area right now. Coming on to data, data is the key, but clean data is not available. It's very important for India to have cleaned data, curated data available so that some of these models will work much better. But above all, I think we require farmers, the farmer cooperatives, the industry, then they have to come together on tech platforms to be created by the government. And I must say that the government of India has actually taken up this on a war footing and trying to develop the kind of platforms that will actually scale very well at population scale for India. Okay, so there are many research questions that we are currently working on. These are all very technical problems, which actually makes this area very interesting for us from a research angle also. This is the reason why postdocs, PhD students and MTech project students are working in this area right now from a computer science department. Well, I think we are very confident that AI and tech are set to transform Indian agriculture. The hope is that at least by 2047, we will be absolutely number one in the world if we are able to embrace this technology, embrace all the emerging modern tools in the right way, in the most scientific way. So with this, let me thank all of you for your patient hearing. I would like to thank IISc and the Department of CSA, the team GRAMA. Of course, I would like to thank NABARD and BEL who have so nicely supported the kind of research that we have done. And finally, thank you NCERT for providing me this marvelous opportunity to be able to talk on a platform and be engaged with the teachers and students across our country. Thank you very much.
Great, sir. Thank you very, very much. Sir, we are honored. We really feel honored that people like you are joining us in our endeavor for this series, Listening to Learn. सर, आपका हिंदी बहुत अच्छा है, बहुत अच्छा हिंदी है प्रोफेसर नरहरि, लेकिन आपके स्लाइड नंबर 15 मुझे याद आ रहा है जिसमें कि आपने बड़े खूबसूरत आम हमें दिखाए. आम का मौसम अभी नहीं है. And then you talked about tomato prices.
Yeah.
In North India, we feel more that as if probably the onion is more volatile rather than the tomato only. Tomato, of course, now tomato prices have also been changing, but the onion is more volatile because it has a capacity to change the governments as well.
Yes.
Yes. So,
you're absolutely right.
Yes, sir. So, but with this, I have please allow me to take this interaction ahead. by some questions which I have been receiving, which I am receiving from the audience in different corners. Sir, you largely talked about the precision agriculture,
Yes.
and then you mentioned many other problems which are being confronted, and IISc efforts in particular. You mentioned about association of different government agencies and industries in such kind of projects. As a student, we are interested to understand that how far it has really gone to Indian universities and Indian educational systems, so that it can be propagated further. Number one, are there some courses with where these, you have been talking about master's project, doctoral programs, postdoctoral programs, but are there some agricultural, some agricultural universities which have taken this time of courses in their undergraduate programs also? Please, yours.
Absolutely. In fact, my research group currently consists of 2 postdocs, and both of them happen to be PhDs in agricultural economics from the University of Agricultural Sciences, Bangalore. And all the universities of agriculture in India, they have an agricultural economics department, and they have various other departments in precision agriculture and so on. They also have BSc AG and MSc AG programs, and the kind of projects that the students do as a part of their BSc AG and MSc AG, these are actually projects of the kind that I was talking about. In fact, a couple of interns from in the computer science department at IISc are actually agriculture students. I may also like to mention that all the IITs have very, I would say, forward-looking research programs in agriculture. IIT Kharagpur is a leader in that. They actually have a Department of Agriculture and Food Technology, which is one of the best departments. And all the IITs, IIT Madras, IIT Bombay, and many of the other IITs also have groups working on various aspects of this. Of course, we have the Indian Council of Agricultural Research, which has many research labs. They're all doing excellent work of the type that I mentioned here. So there are enough opportunities. All that you have to do is to look around. My email address is narahari@iisc.ac.in. It's actually there in the very first slide. Please do send me an email. I'll be very happy to share some more information with you on the kind of opportunities that you have. Let me mention to you that currently I have 5 MTech project students. These are computer science students who are gate toppers working in IISc. They're all working on agriculture related problems. So there is enough opportunity to use math, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and all the analytical techniques as a part of problem solving for Indian agriculture.
That's indeed great to listen. That's indeed great to listen from Dr. Narahari. You are talking about interdisciplinary nature in understanding the different subjects and coming to the problems, social problems. You have taken some case studies of Karnataka state,
Yes.
Where you have been successful in predicting that what kind of crop rotation should take place. You mentioned about ICAR initiatives and different agricultural universities, but in every district, particularly North India, across the whole North country, I believe, we have district centers which are instituted either by the state government agencies, state agricultural departments, or ICAR or IARI. Can they really are there some initiatives known to you that through which the local farmers, particularly in the regions where the technology reached late, eastern part of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and some other states, Rajasthan, some states, so they can get in touch with those kind of institutions? Can you highlight some of the points?
Absolutely. I think the agriculture related initiatives in India is like a big ocean, and as you rightly mentioned, Indian Agriculture Research Institute and also Indian Council of Agricultural Research, they have very high class research labs where a lot of work is going on in areas like precision agriculture, operations research in agriculture, and more recently AI methods in agriculture. My suggestion to all the students and teachers who are actually watching this and may watch this in future is to look at the website of Indian Council of Agricultural Research, also on the websites of the universities of agricultural sciences of different universities. Regarding the tomato price prediction that you were talking about, we have done it not only for Karnataka, we have also done it for Uttar Pradesh.
Oh, great.
And the crop planning experiments that where I showed the Karnataka state map, we have actually repeated that for Maharashtra and also for Telangana state, where actually data is actually available abundantly. And I think more recently, we have been promised data from the Karnataka state government at taluka level and also at lower levels of granularity, with which some of these models will be working much, much better.
That's great. That's great. It's indeed. I am also now getting aware about it. See, sir, it is a normal fear in the common people that the use of artificial intelligence may take away some jobs. You talked about the career and the educational prospects in this area. Do we really see a job enhancement as well in this if we use artificial intelligence in agriculture?
Every disruptive technology will have short-term effects, medium-term effects, and long-term effects. Long-term effects are always going to be beneficial. Short-term effects are going to be somewhat disruptive. What I would like to say is that the kind of effect it is going to have on agriculture will not be to the extent in very core IT industries. In IT industries, the emergence of AI tools, especially generative AI and also large language models, has been quite disruptive. But the industry and the IT companies are now reaching a new equilibrium. Every technology, whether it is, for example, the broadcast technology in the 1970s, internet technology in 1990s, and mobile cell technology in the 2000s, all of them were disruptive in their own way. So similarly, this is one more disruptive technology that has come. But the world is so adaptive. So globally, all the companies and all the individuals will soon find a new equilibrium where the new technology that has emerged will be leveraged in the best possible way. So now, for example, all the jobs which were currently programming jobs will now become slightly different kind of jobs where all the people who are earlier developing programs will now be required to check whether the programs which are automatically generated by the AI tools are indeed correct or not. Now, one should be very cognizant of the fact that all these AI tools, produce what are called hallucinations. In other words, there is a certain amount of guesswork that comes into picture when you are using these AI tools. I don't want to get into the technical details of that. In other words, the output of all these Gen AI tools is not always 100% reliable. Yes. Now, in mission critical applications and in most of the applications, what you require is 100% reliability. If you want to reach that 100% reliability, there is a certain amount of work that needs to be done on the output that is generated by the AI tools so that you're absolutely sure that your programs are completely flawless. So this is where I think the job descriptions are going to change, the nature of the jobs are going to change. You will actually require a lot of upskilling. Yes. You will have to pick up new skills. Jobs are not going to be destroyed in the medium term and the long term. In the short term, of course, there will be some ripples that will be invariably there, and we will have to actually go through that kind of a ripple before a new equilibrium actually emerges.
Very true. It is something like in all other sectors where artificial intelligence is used. The second last question, but there is one more question after that, sir. You talked about using the data. managing the data, understanding it, interpreting it. How do you think the use of gadgets like robots, drones, etc.?
Agriculture is one area which is a very fertile area for autonomous systems like robots, drones, and so on. You were talking about precision agriculture.
Yes, sir.
Now, digital agriculture basically is going to be precision agriculture. For example, if it is a question of applying fertilizers and pesticides, currently we are actually applying too much of fertilizers, too much of pesticides, and sometimes too much of water and so on. Precision agriculture is all about applying the right amount of water, right amount of pesticide, right amount of fertilizer based on the soil, the temperature, and so many other factors.
Right.
It turns out that all these autonomous devices are going to be extremely useful there because all these autonomous devices have their own intelligence. They are now equipped with AI. They are able to figure out how much of pesticide is required for a certain type of a plant in a certain location and so on. So they have a big role to play, and maybe by 2030 itself, you will see lots of robots and drones running around in agricultural farms anywhere in the country. By 2047, you will see that the revolution would have reached a completion where I think the human beings and also the robots and drones will all be participating cooperatively in making agriculture as efficient as possible.
So with your green shirt, sir, we are going to have another green revolution in the country very soon, and we are really hopeful, sir, that by 2047 we are, as you say, that we are number one in agriculture related areas. Thank you very much for being with us,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
We had little more questions with us, but now we are running short of time. Sir, Harpreet, can you wind it up?
Of course,
Yes,
sir. Thank you so much. First of all, you covered all the important aspects. I learnt a lot from you, and I'm sure India's youth will return to agricultural practices considering the fact that AI is now making a lot of improvements in the same. So we are definitely going to connect with you very soon for yet another exciting journey. And here, sir, I want something from you. What's coming up next? Please apprise us all.
साथियों, हम 112 अपने सेशंस कर चुके हैं. आपकी डिमांड हमारे पास एक अलग से टॉपिक पर आ रही थी लगातार कि हम लीडरशिप के बारे में बात करें, खास तौर से बच्चों के साथ. जेन जी, जेन अल्फा, जेन बीटा एटसेट्रा जनरेशन्स हमारे साथ हैं. दो आई बिलोंग टू जनरेशन एक्स, बट स्टिल वी वर्क फॉर डिफरेंट अदर जनरेशन्स टू कम अहेड. In the same line, we are going to have Major General Anil Sanger next time with us on 3rd of October, next Friday. We'll be talking about children leadership today for a strong India tomorrow. So this topic is very contemporary. Please be with us on next Friday, 3rd of October, same time, 10 o'clock.
Yes,
Namaskar.
We are looking forward to these sessions. I would like to once again thank Dr. Narhari, Dr. Gangagupta for their wonderful contribution to the session. And viewers, we're wrapping up the session over here. And let me tell you about the program schedule. Please look at all the programs that are going to come your way. In a short while from now, you can watch our special program on teaching learning interventions for inclusive classrooms at 12. With this, it's a wrap. This is me, Harpreet Kaur, taking leave of you. Namaskar.